views of Orkney's older folk are being gathered this month. Representatives of the Scottish Older People's Assembly are coming to the county on the 18th of February. It's part of a process of getting out across Scotland to hear what issues are affecting the lives of older members of the community. It's also about dispelling some of the more negative stereotypes with which this age group sometimes get labelled with. Fian has been speaking to Chair of the Assembly, Tom Berney.
About 7 years ago, it was decided to set up an assembly of all of the older people's organisations in Scotland, all the leading ones anyway. For the first couple of years, what they did was they would hold a large assembly once a year with 200-300 people, delegates from each of the organisations. But since then, we've developed and we now, in addition to having the annual assembly of representatives, we've decided in the last 2 years to get more grassroots and go out and talk to people in their own towns. Rather than bringing everybody to Glasgow or Edinburgh, we thought it better to go out and talk to them. So we go and ask older people in their area what they think is important and what they would like us to take to the government, the Scottish Government, and to the Westminster Government. The other thing we do is that because the government have recognised that we do make efforts to involve older people around the country, they put us on some of the drafting committees so that when the civil servants are drafting legislation affecting older people, we have now got a seat on some of those committees where we can actually influence legislation before it's drafted.
So would it be true, do you think, to say that in the past, perhaps, the views of older people haven't been heard as loudly as they perhaps should?
Exactly. I mean, this is the main message that we put across at these meetings and that we get from older people, is that you always see older people as being presented as some kind of a burden in society. By getting more old people when society gets older, that's some kind of a problem. We actually argue that it's actually an asset. Nearly all the caring, for example, that's done in Scotland, we always think about caring as being in care homes. Actually, most caring is done by individuals, old people looking after other older people. 3/4 of all the caring done in Scotland is by older people looking after their parents and that kind of thing. We want to convince older people that they're citizens. They have a right to influence the policies that affect them, and they have a right to influence the services that affect them. So what we do is try to get people confident in that, and we then take that view to the government.
So you're holding this event in Kirkwall on Wednesday the 18th. What kind of format will that take? How will people be able to get their views across?
Basically, I do a talk, and I talk about the kind of thing I've been saying to you. I tell them what SOPA is in their background. I tell them the kind of issues we think are important for older people, mainly talking, as I said, about the fact that we do make a big contribution to society. And then following that, the main part of the event is we break up the audience into smaller groups, and they then discuss issues that they think are important to older people in their area. They then tell us, after they've had a talk about that, give us a report back of what they think is important. We discuss that, and then we take that away. And when we meet Alec Neil, the Cabinet Secretary for Older People, or for Pensioners' Rights as they call it, when we meet him, that is among the issues that we will raise with him.
The opinions of the Assembly, or the opinions that the Assembly is representing, are taken very seriously now by politicians.
Oh yes, I mean, we had, for example, the big event this year was that in October we had our annual Assembly, and we had it in the debating chamber of the Scottish Parliament. Governments take us very seriously in that we do meet ministers, we do serve on some of the official committees. So, I think we certainly taken seriously here.
And Tom will be taking part in an event at the King Street Halls next Wednesday the 18th. You need to register by this Friday by calling VAO on 872897.